Welcome back from the break, and you're still watching Smart Means Business. We've got 1 minute off the hour of 8 o'clock, and in this hour we kick-started off with motivation and inspiration. And with motivation and the kind of inspiration, we start off with the business tip that you can add to your business life. Let's take it away. Right now, you shouldn't focus on why you can't do something, which is what most people do. You should focus on why perhaps you can and be one of the exceptions. The business tip says you shouldn't focus on what you can't do, on why you can't do something, which is what most people do. You should focus on why perhaps you can be one of the exceptions. So you should not focus on why you can't do something, because almost some of the same reasons as to why we always bail out of certain situations is because we look at the fact that we can't do something, and we rule ourselves out of a new challenge immediately at the word go, instead of looking at how we can be different from the rest. So that is what the business tip is saying. It's more like telling us to take on the risks and then see how far we can go with them. And that is it for our business tip this morning. Besides that, let's get the motivation with our business quote as well. And of course, the business quote says, logic will get you from A to B. Imagination will take you everywhere. That is according to the business quote. That logic will take you from A to B, while imagination will take you everywhere. So if you're imagining something, you should as well know that imagination is not the kind of thing that you should be rolling out, because once you imagine something, you start picturing yourself doing it or achieving it. So it is something that we should be able to have as well in our minds, and it should be something that should move with us wherever we are going, and as well as we continue to look at certain things as they go by. But besides that kind of situation, as you continue to start your business, remember, or as you start your business day to day, remember there is lots of more to explore, or lots of opportunities to explore. So please take it on, and never be afraid to conquer the world that is ahead of you. And of course, that is it for the business quote and the business tip. Now, Friday, examinations were released for Senior 6 students, and our social media trends are basically rotating around that. I do remember on Friday as well, we had discussions here with Barija Andrew, rotating around why students should not consider much of what happens with the results, but consider a lot to do with the kind of potential that they have ahead of them, to see how they can tap into many of the opportunities out there. But well, besides that, with our social media trends here, the Observer UG says, hashtag UACE 2022, Kawempe School offers 15 million bribe, 15 shillings bribe to UNEB supervisor as Kawempe gets flagged as exam malpractice hold sport. Now, the observer.ug hashtag /news/headlines hashtag education. And then the second tweet is from Smart24 television at Smart24 TV with hashtag updates. UACE results released. Congratulations. 99.2% qualified for the award of the UACE, just as it was in 2020, according to the analysis of the overall candidates' performance. That is according to what Dan N. Odong revealed. Hashtag UACE 2022, hashtag driving business. Now, the government of Uganda also with a tweet that UACE results released. A total of 97,890 candidates registered for the 2022 UACE exams from 1,969 centers, compared to 98,392 candidates from 1,952 centers in 2020. Hashtag UACE 2022. Now, darker skin, that is at Bradley Carl 2050, with a tweet saying, Senior 6 vacists will realize that Makerere isn't the only university you can go to hashtag UACE 2022. Now, Uganda National Examinations Board, that is UNEB, UNEB_UG, saying performance in biology has again dropped below the 2020 level where it had risen. Examiners have attributed this to candidates having problems in questions on genetics, ecology, and applications of biological concepts to the environment and classification. Hashtag UACE 2022. And of course, is at least on the same of how students have been performing in science subjects for the last 5 years. Now, Owen Singura with a tweet and a meme saying, a certain parent after seeing their childish hashtag UACE 2022 UNEB results. By the look of things, it doesn't look like a parent is happy anyway. And it's just Jailane at Ian Perez 260 with a tweet, MTN and Airtel bosses after the release of hashtag UACE 2022. Do remember, each message was costing 500 shillings of airtime if one wanted to check the results. Now, Rise Africa Home at Chris Fast Rulers with a tweet, I request UACE board to give us money for JAB forms back. Hashtag UACE 2022. That is Rise Africa Home with that particular tweet at Chris Fast Rulers saying, I request UACE board to give us money for JAB forms back. And of course, deeply, you do understand as well that, of course, the females, of course, continue to perform so well again in the UACE examinations. And of course, you would love it to be that way for one way or the other if we talk about gender equality and stopping the idea of pretty much the superiority complex and name it wherever it does come on board. But of course, as we continue to give you more business updates, one thing will be leading to another, and this time around, tell you what, we're heading to the budget cuts. Remember, at the start of the month of February, discussions rotating around budget cuts in the country. The current budget of 47.2 trillion shillings may only have an addition of 3 trillion by the next financial year, according to what the budget framework paper does say. And pretty much briefly, if I'm to say, 50 trillion shillings does look like the budget that we shall be having for the financial year 2023-2024. Now, there is a public debt and budget cut. The reason behind this is because there is an increasing public debt that the Ministry of Finance is trying to cap a little bit, decrease, and they believe by doing so with the budget cuts, it will be very, very good and really possible and quite a good kind of situation for those engaging in this particular budget. And of course, for the others, I should say, if I'm to put it in this way, is that the reason behind it is to at least control on the expenditure and the expenses. Now, what we are going to find out in this update is why there has been budget cuts in sectors. Yet the national budget has pretty much increased. I did mention by 3 trillion at least. Then, why is there a decision? Why isn't there a decision to stop requesting for these particular loans? Because it does seem so that the more we request for them, the more the public debt increases, and the more we are increasing the budget, the more we are calling in for supplementary budgets and all that. Now, in here we do have John Muhairoha, who is the Commissioner of Budget Policy and Evaluation from the Ministry of Finance Planning and Economic Development, giving us the answers to the two. Take a look.
Public debt was shooting up. Yeah, that's why we said now the budget for next financial year will be less than the budget for this year by about 3.4 trillion there. It is going down because we are not going to borrow again. We said let us first stop at that level where we are not very bad off, by the way. We are around 50. many countries of who are almost the same as our economy here, they have gone beyond. They have borrowed beyond even 60. We know them. So we are not doing badly, but we are saying let us first cap it at that level. But when even if you stop, you have to keep paying the loans that are now accruing, that are now maturing. The interest, the money we borrowed to establish all these roads, the energy power you are seeing, it is time now to pay the interest. They are maturing. That's why you see that the budget, for discretionary budget, has gone down, yet URA is telling you that they have collected some extra money. That extra money has been put in the budget purposely to service the loans and those interest payments that are accruing from the loans acquired by government to set up the infrastructure you are enjoying. So we're saying let us reduce borrowing now. Let us not go for loans that are not concessional. For any project that we are to put in the budget has to be vetted and to ensure that really it cannot be postponed. And the source of financing is clear. It's not going into this business of borrowing non-concessional loans. No. For you who saw the budget call circular, we are saying no new projects unless the source of financing is really concessional, and that project really must happen now. Repurposing the funding. So we are saying that we will see the level of debt not going up, as the participant has said. Those are the measures we are somehow undertaking to ensure that we don't overborrow. The budget has increased a bit, but the increase has not gone to the discretionary part of the budget. Discretionary, that's where we can sit and allocate money and agree on our priorities and shift the money. But the other big component of the budget is where government has obligations to pay and you cannot postpone them, is where the money belongs to a development partner or the budget support that is tied to a given project. You cannot say I'm moving it to another area. So the discretionary resource has gone down, whereas the budget has gone up. The increase has gone to these other statutory obligations, debt repayment and interest payment that have, over time, have now become mature. The money that the development partners gave us in terms of loans, we use it for roads, energy, etc. It is now time to pay back. You cannot postpone. It's an obligation that you are supposed to start. The grace period has ended. You have to start paying, and that is priority number on the what? On the budget. Those statutory obligations. So the rest of the budget that is available for me and the other ministries and everybody for allocating to our priorities has reduced by about 3.4 trillion. So that's why they are telling you that the budget has increased from 48.7 to 50 and plus, but they are seeing their budgets going down. It has gone to an area, that increase has gone to an area that is not discretionary. We cannot allocate it to votes. We must meet. Otherwise, once you fail, we default on those obligations, then even the other support that is going in other areas, donors will say, we'll pull out. So we must pay those, we must pay back the roads that have become mature. But we are saying we have decided to reduce domestic borrowing. So we cannot increase resources allocated to the sectors when you have also reduced on the borrowing side. This is temporary. We hope the economy will recover and then we will again go back to the usual trend. That's why the colleague was saying that is it true in 6 months the economy will recover? Because those are projections. We project that GDP is going to grow, the economy is going to grow up to a given level. But we cannot say that we are very sure that that's where what we are going to, that's the level we are going to attain. Yeah? That's, economists, on assumption that everything is it will take the trend we are seeing. That is our assumption, the positive trend we are seeing. What if now another Ebola comes? That will be reversed. What if another, challenge hit the country. But now we are assuming the way we are progressing, if we remain like this, following this trend, we are going to recover in the medium term, and votes will be realizing more budgets, more allocations to meet their priorities. But for the time being, we are telling them, please prioritize. Under the programs we are talking about, prioritize those activities that you think can be postponed for now. First, leave them. Repurpose the money. Spend on those key priorities. Even at home, when it's time for paying fees, you cannot go to buy expensive dresses for your spouse or your wife or a new coat for your husband. No, fees first, because you cannot postpone paying fees. So you prioritize. Say, this season, this Christmas, we must meet this one can wait. Because January is near, our daughter is going senior one. What you do at home, that is exactly what we are doing. As a country, you have to repurpose the money. Given that there is a budget constraint, the little money you have to repurpose it and ensure that it is allocated to those key priorities of government.
Well, of course, as we continue to give you more updates regarding the same matter, you do realize that pretty much the kind of situation and the occasions that lead us to the national budget or the budget presentation around June always regarding the fact that, first of all, we look back at the performance, then we look at what we are going to prioritize in the next financial year, what we shall leave out, and of course how we are going to be dealing with issues to do with public debt, for example. And of course public debt is one of the reasons as to why we are in here in regards to the budget cuts, to at least try to control overspending within government offices. And of course one of the other key issues is that with these budget cuts, what was eliminated included cancelling of trips for members of parliament. There will not be any more money for salary increment for at least one for this particular financial year, and there's a lot, pretty much there's really a lot of discussions in there. Berija Andrew joins me this morning, and of course as we are in here 19 minutes off the hour of 8 o'clock, and we're discussing business as usual, but this time around looking at the budget cuts. I think we've always been having this discussion, Andrew, in regards to what the government was intending to do and why it is actually moving in the right direction when it comes to the budget cuts.
Yeah, actually, as I start this, I'll first of all say there is a common saying that says that you reap what you sow.
Okay.
Yeah. What people don't know out there is that most of the agencies that used to lend the government money, it connects back to the public debt, no longer do that because why? Accountability is not there. And to make even matters worse, by this year, June 2023, June of this year, the public debt, I guess it will be at around 53%. It will be 53% of the GDP. I mean, that's not, that's very, very, very scary. But it all comes back to the previous times whereby the money was being allocated to the different, government bodies, different government ministries, but there was no proper accountability. And most of these donors really care about accountability. And now it comes a time whereby the government of Uganda is no longer getting those grants like anticipated. So what they have to do is to come back to an ordinary Ugandan, an ordinary citizen, to really face this. So that is becoming a little bit of it's why we are here actually. It's why we are here. Ministers traveling, MPs traveling out there. There is no return on investment. So what does that mean?
Okay.
So definitely there was abuse of privileges. We had privileges to get money from different agencies, but it wasn't being really being utilized efficiently. So that's why we are here. We are reaping what we sowed.
Okay. And of course, the idea was looking at the fact that there is the question is that most people are still asking is okay, we have budget cuts here, then why do we have a budget increasing? Because nevertheless with the budget will only increase by the look of things, it will only increase by 3 trillion shillings, but it's still an increase.
I think it comes back to the inflation, you know, which is really grappling so high, and you know, the fact that we have to come out of the COVID-19 effects, you know, and all that, and the 53, it all comes back to, you know, Uganda where it is right now, it needs really quite lots of money, so you cannot under budget, because where we've reached right now, we need to spend more if we are to recover back to the pre-pandemic.
And of course, as we look at all those particular deep discussions about that, I think we can all agree on the issue to do with the budget cuts, because by the look at things, I also do believe when we last had this conversation, our own concern maybe was going on the fact that there are people who are waiting for salary increments, and that will not happen until
definitely.
the next financial year of 2024-2025.
Yeah.
But the other breakdown of all these budget cuts was something that was quite realistic, and something that is that is self-explanatory as to why the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development did so.
Yeah, and you know, it's very interesting. Okay, I really hope that it's really realistic, because you know there are lots of underground things that really go on. It means that what we don't know, and before you know it, they surface in a way. You know, there is this whole thing of proposing all these, but what is being really done in the background is opposite. You know, I think you've seen scandals manifesting. You know, something we didn't know. So hope this is also really done like the way they say it is, because it will be really very absurd for information to leak. You know, that there was all this, you know, these secret trips, you know, of these delegates which we didn't know about. I mean, it will be really unfair. You know, it would be really unfair.
All right, and that is what we have for you for now. But after the break, we've got more discussions coming up that will be rotating around sports and entertainment business. Not a good week in office for Manchester United fans, and I'm coming back to talk more about that, trust me. But besides that as well, it is going to be more of the top grossing movies for Andrew.
Yeah,
and
of course, movies that have been
of course, more business in sport coming up after the break. But as we're heading into the break now, what you need to know is that the markets on the Zabo platform are officially opened. Now you can invest. It's Monday, it's past 15 already, and it's just 24 minutes of the hour of 8 o'clock. So start investing now with Zabo. The minimum amount of investing in government bonds, for example, is 15,000 Ugandan shillings. Do remember, if you have no account with the platform yet, you can get one by registering with your national identification number. Quickly kickstart off your investment journey with Zabo. Zabo, my money, my future. Alltex East Africa. Do something new. Well, what can you do new today? Invest in government bonds and other securities with the platform. The markets open at 8:15 a.m. Closing time 3:15 p.m. They're only closed fully on the weekends and on public holidays. The rest of the time, they are fully open. Zabo, my money, my future. Stick around. You're still watching Smart Means Business. Good morning.